Hey, top of the day to you. This is Esther Davis with a magnificent show. You don't want to go away, but what I'm going to ask you to do is please call somebody and tell them to tune in to the Esther Davis show. We are actually doing something a bit different today. It is called the Promoters Wrap Up because we had a boxing event about last week, 7 days ago. Now we want to talk about it. I have two experts here who's going to give us all of the scoop and what went on, what didn't go on, what did they think should have gone on. So my guest is the most enthusiastic boxer fan in the city of Dallas. Hey,
Hey,
how
how
you
y'all
doing, Mr.
doing? How
Doran
y'all doing?
Mallory?
Doing well. Thank you, Ms. Davis,
I
for having
sat
me on
right
your
next
show.
to you at the fight, and you just had a great time.
I enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure to watch you. Well, we've got another expert here today. Now, everybody has let's say, a leader, a coach, somebody tells them what to do. We were able to get the coach for Roy Jones, the coach for who has a magnificent history with young people, and he is Coach James Brown. Hey, Mr. Brown.
How you doing?
Happy birthday to you. Today is his birthday, so
Happy
we're going to
birthday.
celebrate. We're going to celebrate your birthday, and we're going to talk about the fight. I am not the host of this segment. I really am not. It's Cedric Brown. He's on his way. So I'm fitting in for a few minutes. So we're going to talk about what the state of Texas can do with boxing. And I'm going to start out with you on that question, Dorian. You got a history in boxing.
First of all, I think that Esther, you're on the right path. I seen a totally different crowd there. I seen everyone having a great time.
Yeah.
I seen Black Girl Magic.
Black
and
girl magic, right?
Black woman magic.
No, we take that.
It was amazing, and it was a different environment. And Dallas is known as a good party area. You can find entertainment where you want,
Right.
but that type of entertainment was unique.
Well, I think it reached another height completely. And every fight that we have seems to go in that direction. Now, to the coaching staff, we get another perspective. And that comes from, of course, the effervescent, good looking James Brown. How are you?
I'm doing extremely great.
So good to
Yes.
see you here.
It's nice.
I want to say thank you to you and Roy Jones. Let me tell you what these guys did. Last
I mean,
week,
what they did.
a schedule is always tight when they're in
Right.
town. It's always you got to do here. Everything is on point, but it's not on point. So we had to I had to have 20 minutes of Roy's time.
Right.
So he's the coach, he's the driver, he's really the boss. He does it when we do what the coaches say. But all of a sudden, I had pushed and pushed and pushed. You know how that goes. And all of a sudden, they said, "Okay, we'll be there in 20 minutes." That means they were on the freeway in Dallas with our wonderful, beautiful traffic here. And he was, he's going to bring up Roy Jones, and then the whole world starts changing. So let me first of all just thank you for that trip.
Well, you're welcome.
Where were you guys?
We was at the radio station.
Yeah, at the radio station. Okay.
And Roy had just landed, had put his baggage up. Thought about getting something to eat, but we couldn't get anything to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And he joined 94.5, a radio segment that they do. It's called Citrus, part of.
Yeah, but he's on it all the time. Every
It's
time
called
he
The Man
comes,
Cave.
the Man Cave. That's it.
Yes. And so they had a really, really, really good time talking about the Man Cave. Actually, he wasn't just getting here. He got there
The day before.
the day before.
Okay.
Because we went.
You know
to,
what? You are right. He got here the day before, but then we had it was raining.
It was
Remember, and there were a lot of delays at the airports.
raining, and Roy missed two.
And right, he missed 2 flights.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
2 planes went off and left Roy
You're kidding me. You mean they didn't wait on Roy Jones Jr.
in Pensacola.
and Pepsi Cola?
Oh yes.
So the next morning, then your schedule got really, really
Really,
heavy.
Really, really, really tight.
along with the rain.
Yes.
But you got him over here.
Well, we got him here because Miss Esther Davis, you do such a marvelous
Oh
job.
gosh.
That-
Yay, yesterday.
Hey, you do. That
Well,
was great.
it's so important that you've made boxing now let's call it a diversified sport. because in the Muhammad Ali days, there were not female boxers, or were there female boxers
Yeah, they were female boxers
female,
back in the
but
day.
not
They
center
didn't have the
stage
popularity
that they
Right,
have now?
Right. There's always been street boxing. That had, you know.
What made you so excited at the boxing?
One of the things were that I was happy to see our people there having a good time. I was happy everyone enjoying themselves.
Right.
I mean, you had Yellow Beezy there. Billions. I mean, we had, you gave a tribute to MO3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you hit everything top notch. And then to see one of the greatest boxers of all time to actually come and not stand us up as people.
Yeah.
That's a true people's champ there.
Yeah.
And we appreciated that.
The people's champ.
Exactly.
And then we have kids. We've had young people. We're going to bring up, Coach, all of the fights, all of the flyers that we had for the fights, because it was our 4th round. We got a 5th round coming up, right?
December 31st.
Wow, December 31st, y'all. And so it hasn't improved. It's just gotten better. If that's a dumb statement, then it has gone here and started.
Is that rematch? Is that rematch gonna be December 31st? Where's Zachary at? That's what we want to know. Is that we talking about boxing now? Let's break it down.
Let's talk about the talent, though. Okay, before we talk about before we talk about the fights, let's talk about the performer. I tip my hat to Yellow Beezy.
Of course.
The world know him. Because Yellow Beezy is one of my students. I'm a retired school teacher.
Okay.
And Yellow Beezy was one of my students in my health class.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when he used to just rap, he'd sit back in the back and be working on. So for a presentation, I had the fellas do a presentation, pretty much wrapping up the semesters, one semester class, what they learned. And he wanted to rap. I never knew that he was going to turn out to be quote unquote Yellow Beezy.
Yeah.
Yellow Beezy.
Yeah.
But I am extremely, extremely proud of that kid. And if you guys ever got a chance to know him, everyone was talking about getting him on. He's saying that he's one of his neighbors, and I'm saying that's one of my ex-students.
Wow.
And he's gonna do it. And Yellow Beezy don't have to do a show that's small right now, but that's what kind of person he is. He's gonna stand up for these Triple D's. Dallas.
Oh yeah, okay. He's gonna
rep Dallas.
And that has to make you feel good.
He's
a kid sitting in your class. You didn't know what he was going to be, and all of a sudden, 20 years later, whatever the time frame is, he's a star.
He's a star.
He is a star. Yellow Beezy. Okay, you were telling me that your Sugar Ray Leonard days just came out. Full bloom.
Yeah. You get excited. A lot of people don't understand. There's times and places to do certain things. And if we had a boxing match, we're there for entertainment, we're there to support the boxers. I'm not gonna sit beside you and act like I got more money than you do. I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what they come for. That's the energy they get.
Yeah.
Like right now, I feel it right now.
Do you really?
I do on the Ester Davis Show. Y'all make sure and tune in, man. We got a lot to talk about today, Dallas. I'm gonna wake y'all third up. Y'all playing around. We gonna get in it.
He could not stay in his seat.
Man, it was amazing.
He would move, and if something came, and this was on all fights, not just
it was amazing.
Spotlight fight.
And that's definitely why I want to tip my
You guys missed
Brown.
Yeah.
Because
Great.
we have the most insane boxing fans here in Dallas. There's no reason for us to have to go to Las Vegas, have to go to California, have to go to Florida to see fights. New York.
In New York.
To
and
see
they
fights.
on Facebook, like we ain't doing our job.
And we
down
got
here.
fight fanatics here in Dallas. And that's why I tip my hat to Cedric Brown, because this was his 4th show. Cedric Brown is bringing Dallas, boxing to Dallas. And stay tuned. He may be tuning up with the legendary Jerry Jones.
Oh,
some boxing stuff, because Jerry Jones is a boxing fan. He want to see boxing big in Dallas.
Yeah, thank
well,
you.
That's the other thing that has come up. I know David Wells is on his way, but he was telling me one day that Seth Wallace is a boxing fan, the CEO of the Mavericks. So yeah, I'd love to have Seth Wallace and Jerry Jones on the same platform. That's got to be a really great show.
That would be a great show right there.
Just in the same room together.
Yes.
But then Cedric is doing something phenomenal. Yeah, he really is. And I have a tendency to mention that often in my columns on all of the shows because he's not playing around with boxing promoting. He has a license. That's number one, the most important part. And it's whatever the parameters are, he's registered with the state. And there are people that will come from our judicial system, from our legislation system. George West came one night. He's our state senator here in the state of Texas. So we've got people, as you coming off of the chain to come into our fighting.
And I really wish Cedric was here.
He's on his way. I think now he is doing some other things, and I want him to talk about that when he gets here.
And I want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the other things he's doing, but he's doing a lot of things. But boxing is something that he don't have to do. He enjoy doing it. He have many, many different entities that he work with. He have a trust group that he work with. Right. But boxing, he did boxing to provide opportunities.
Wow.
Opportunities. He sat around, he heard, and I've been in, I don't know how long you've been sitting around waiting. I hear people talk about, we're going to do this in Dallas. We're going to do this in Dallas.
At least 2 years. It take a minimum 2 years to get it done.
It takes a minimum 2 years, but I've been hearing it for 20 years.
Wow.
I've been hearing what we're going to do in Dallas, how we're going to come together and bring boxing to Dallas. Cedric Brown stepped in and man, I call him Mr. Make It Happen.
Mr. Make It. Do you know what was a nudge, the push that put him he has this thing. Oh, we're going to do this. If I get a phone call from him right now, he's going to give me a litany of things that are going to happen.
Right.
I don't question any of that. I don't ask how, why. I just said, and he keeps going until, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. One thing, I really want him to tell his story because it's really interesting. He had a doctor's appointment. Mm-hmm. And he went in and he had a few health issues. Mm-hmm. So fitness became a thing.
Yes. Okay.
Now, if Cedric Brown is in it, he's in it. So he got to get fit. Never been in the gym a day in his life. He needed to get fit. Right. So he thought he should. He was hearing about Floyd Mayweather had these fitness gyms. Mm-hmm. So he decided that he's going to buy him.
So that's how it got started.
A fitness gym. That's how it gets started. And you really need to hear the story from him. And one of the most interesting things he's doing, because one of the big things to make boxing go, the big thing to make the boxing go is sponsors. Mm-hmm. And if you look at most of the big time fights, you're going to have sponsors from beer companies.
Oh. Right.
Cedric, even though he think that's a good financial idea, but he said that fitness and beer don't blend. Mm-hmm. So he did not want a sponsor from a beer company, or a wine company, a liquor company, because he's serious about the fitness part.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. I really tip my hat to him for that.
Amen.
And that's making a statement also. Exactly. You know, most of the time we want the beer, the wine, the Jack Black, the Hennessy, all of that stuff. But if you don't, you can do it without that. But I'm surprised at the number of children.
The minute you bend over, it's too hard to stand up straight. Esther.
Whoa, say that again, please.
The minute you bend over, it's too hard to
stand up straight. I love that.
I love that.
But you got another rich history in boxing. You mentioned Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh,
give me a brief synopsis.
What you want to know? Like,
well, let's start with, why do you love boxing so much? Where did that come into your life?
I experienced a lot of pain in life.
Okay.
I experienced a lot of loneliness. A lot of hurt. Mm-hmm. You know, it's amazing. You can be in a city full of millions of people and still be lonely.
Yeah, you can. You can.
And so, I was shipped around a lot. Okay. And I ended up in Seat Pleasant, Maryland.
What is that? Is that a town?
Seat Pleasant, Maryland. I ended up in Seat Pleasant, Maryland, Washington, D.C., South Carolina, Orlando, things of that nature.
Were you a military kid?
I went to the military.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I was an orphan. I was orphaned at 7 years old.
And you know, a lot of the boxers that I have interviewed the last couple since Cedric has had me in this position is they have difficult, rocky lives. Roy adhered to it when I spoke with him. We have the younger boxers that are coming on right now. But that's a distinct group of people. Did you box yourself? Did you try that sport?
Did I box professionally?
No, just play around with it.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I got my golden gloves at 17. But this is the thing. Now, you asked me what pushed me to boxing.
Right.
So um, I ended up, in a place where education and protecting yourself was most important. So I went to a school called Capitol Heights Elementary School. You ever heard of what's her name? I Touch the Future, I Teach, Christy McAuliffe. She died in the Spaceship Challenger. So I was grateful enough to in the fourth grade, this lady, and then, color doesn't mean anything, but I'm gonna say it, a white lady, she noticed something in it. And she had me take these 2 tests, and then had me into talented and gifted classes. Then after talented and gifted classes, I got to go to her school.
Okay.
However, I still had to live. And where I was living was a home. There were 3
Wow.
bedrooms, 23 people. Everybody in there was on crack or heroin. And here I am in 2nd or 3rd grade, trying
With
to
a
just go to
teacher
school.
that has wants you to do this.
That has
trying to go to
noticed
school.
that I have a servant heart. Anything she asked for. So one day I'm on Martin Luther King Avenue, and this grown man came up to me and he punched me in my mouth and took everything I had on me. And I was 11 years old, 12 years old.
Mhm.
So then this manager, and he had boxes around the neighborhood. His name was Frog. Frog's Boxing Gym.
Mhm.
And he said, you know what, little dude, you need to box. Cause you talk a lot.
Wow.
Cause you talk a lot of shit.
You were talking a lot of trash, in other words.
In other words.
Yeah, in other words.
And I said, okay. So up north, this is when the majority of trash companies and things like that were owned by the Italians, the Sicilians, and things like that. So you would box in Northeast, Northwest at Impact, or you would box with Sugar Ray Leonard. Andre Leonard was
That's
one of
the
my,
name you brought up to me.
and
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Andre Leonard was one of my best friends. So there, he fought featherweight. But the thing that
So tell me, what just etched in your heart about boxing? Was it the notoriety? Was it the fact that Mr. Cedric Brown is on his way? We're gonna. What is he having to say? Sure, I want to talk to him.
y'all tune
Hey,
in to
Ted,
the
how's it
Esther
going?
Davis show. We keeping it real here. Tune in.
And we're
Fourth
listening.
floor.
And we're listening to your story.
404-0025.
We're listening to your story about how you got planted in boxing. My guest right now, Coach Brown, James Brown, who is the coach for Roy Jones, and he had several hats that he wore during our last round of boxing. My second guest is Dorian Mallory, and a lot of our children don't grow up the way we expect them to grow up. But once they do get to adulthood, they become shining examples for us. And this is one of those people. And here's the Cedric Brown. Now, I want y'all to tell him something. This is not my show. I'm sitting in until he gets here, and because we want the promoter to talk about the show. So, Mr. Cedric Brown. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, but before you come in, let me finish my thought.
Okay.
So,
I'm so sorry. Please.
yeah, so I was one of those guys. I would take to the matches, and we would do in recreational centers when we fought in recreational centers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of like the zeros, not as far as that. You want it real, right?
Yeah, I want it. I want it real.
You want it real, right?
I want it real.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tap in on your story.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
we're
it's a conversation.
we're the ones that the promoters and the coaches didn't come and see. We're the ones that no matter what, but you know what? We went our program, and I don't mean, whatever going on, because I also was down there and I was helping with the homeless outreach out in Houston before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I met some boxers from Jay Prince camp in Fifth Ward. And that's how we was friends. We went to school, we kept our gloves. If we had free time, we kept our gloves. If we was sitting around on Saturday, Friday, we weren't watching cartoons and martial arts. We was in a yard boxing, you know what I mean? If we didn't box, our forearms burned. You understand what I'm saying? That was fire. If you didn't let them go, that was fire in your forearm.
I want to tell you something that's extremely.
Tell me, Coach. Come on.
I'm sitting over here.
But yeah, I'm
trying to figure out what God is
doing.
Today I turned 55. I don't know how old you are, but I boxed here in Dallas, local. I went open. I won my first 10 fight. My first loss came because I fought a guy from the boys' home.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
From the boys' home. He was in the boys' home, and I said, okay, people who came up boxing Dallas understand what we call the chairs. You about 5 events before your fight, you go to the chairs where you get gloved, and you move up to the chairs after each bout. You move up, you move up. So I was sitting there and I was listening to this guy's story, and it really changed my. I ain't gonna say my life, but my attack when it comes to sports, when it comes to attack. And I also went to tag, what you call talent and gifted school.
Wow.
Percy Anderson was tag. It was,
I know what that is. Yeah.
in
Down on
South
Second
Dallas.
Avenue.
On Second
I went to
Avenue.
TJ
Yeah.
Mann.
They had no sports when I went there. It was a talented and gifted school.
Mhm.
But back to the boxing. I sit there in those chairs and I listen to that guy's hard life. And I was a tiger. My coach would say, watch this. He always said it right before the first bell ring, watch this. And that guy told me his rough story, and he had a pretty rough story. And I went in, and that was my first loss because I really believe I took it easy on him. At that point, at a very young age, at 12 years old, I made up in my mind that I have to have this conversation in my head to keep my edge on. So whenever I'm facing someone, I don't care what your sad story, your sob story was, I'm telling myself, this dude is calling me a punk. This dude, I would make up stuff in my head because I didn't want to be fooled, which as I get older, that was a very true.
To me, you're my father. When I
Wow.
step in that ring against you, you're my father.
That's when
You everyone exactly. You're everything that took my life away from me.
Oh,
Across
this is good. This is
Across
good.
that ring from me, there's nothing that's gonna stop me.
I need to take a little bit of a break, gentlemen.
You
We gotta
know
come
what I'm
back.
saying?
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
come back
bring
to
this
that.
back to the real.
I want to come back, and we're gonna take a break right now. I'm Esther Davis. You're watching the Promoters Corner wrap up of the Kingdom Boxing Promotions here in Dallas, Texas. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Thank you. See you guys.
Podcast audience. We have the now esteemed Cedric Brown, the guy that I've been talking about before we got here. Mr. Make It Happen is what I call him. Said before, while you was on your way, I was talking about, first I talked about you being a Mr. Make It Happen type of guy. Then I talk about your success in the other entities. And boxing is really not one of the main focus in the entity, not at the top priority, but it's something that you decide to do to provide opportunities for other people. And I talked about, I mentioned because I overheard Cedric talking how he got into getting a fitness gym by going to the doctor, getting a report from the doctor that he needed to get more physically fit in some areas. So
Right.
what did he do? He go buy a fitness gym. He go buy a fitness gym,
It's a blessing.
and he take it so serious. I talked about how everyone know what make boxing go is sponsorship, and everybody know in boxing, some Corona, some of the bigger uh, beer companies, and Hennessy, some of the bigger liquor companies are some of the biggest sponsors in boxing. And Cedric, being a businessman, normally would probably tap in on it. But he's so committed to the sport, he do not see how beer and liquor mix with fitness.
Right.
So he chose to take another route. And he brought in sponsors like Credit Union of Texas, not just for the money, but so the boxing can set up bank accounts, set up places where they can go get car loans, establish their credit through a credit union. He did it for a reason. He is definitely the public man. He's definitely not a public figure, but a man that looks out for the public, the general public. Go ahead, Seth.
Okay, it was a pleasure to be here today. And I definitely want to thank you for allowing me to, talk about my story here. But, I'm just an old average guy. I'm a little old guy from the backwoods of Minden, Louisiana, old country boy. Moved to Dallas probably was about 10 years old. I've been quite blessed at the age of 17. Texas Instruments hired me and gave me a salary of $55,000 a year. Graduated my 11th grade year from Roosevelt High School. Put me in an engineering program and gave me a top secret clearance and taught me how to build high-speed anti-radiation missiles. And at 17, that's a very young age, but I was able to build my first brand new home from the ground at 18. So after 8 years of working for Texas Instruments, I decided to become an entrepreneur. Got an insurance business, led me to the mortgage business, real estate development business, and that's where I really, made my first stake in life as far as millions of dollars and so on. Went through the market crash and so on, and then what his life has gone on, and I've tried to obtain wealth and so on. I wasn't taking care of my body, and basically what I'm going to tell you is a segment of basically what happened to me. I was having heart failure. My heart back in 2018 was on a 10% fraction rate, so basically I was having heart failure. Me, as young as I was, never gone to the hospital before, heart failure couldn't be an option for me. I didn't figure, but I learned a lot about health and wellness and so on at that point. That motivated me and inspired me to do something about my situation. Miraculously, the good Lord did restore my heart back. I'm back at a 55% fraction rate. So I said, well, you give me another chance to do what? Well, number one, my health is my wealth. And I had to really start understanding the body. And then when I started looking at different sports and different workouts and so on, working out to me is boring. I mean, you go to any 24-hour fitness workout center and so on. But when I looked at the boxing workout, there is no workout like a boxer's workout. And there's definitely no workout like a Mayweather boxing workout. You know what, 50-0, So it really excited me when I finally hit the franchise opportunity. I was one of the first guys to actually get into the franchise business. I said, I'm going to be the number one. I'm going to be the largest. And I became that. I did, a few months ago, open up my first Mayweather boxing and fitness gym. It's about 5,000 square feet. It's based against their mall. But I had Mayweather come up and all, and, here to Dallas, Cedar Hill, Texas, he actually got the keys to the city, believe it or not, and from the mayor and so on. So it was a great addition to the city of Cedar Hill, the city of Dallas, to know that he's here and now that he's a part of, this city and all the things that we're doing. I'm getting ready to open up another location in Mansfield. Got another location for get ready to do in River Oaks in Houston, Texas. And so my goal is to have 5 locations. And what I love about it is actually a residual income. It's a great business investment, but at the same time, it's health and wellness for the community. So now we can make it fun when you look at a workout. And then at the same time, we actually do financial fit type of sessions too with our members. We're concerned about their financing and so on, because stress kills. All right. It's one thing to release that stress when you hit in a bag, but to me, I got behind a young kid named Samuel Arnold when he was an amateur, and I started to invest in him and his career. and he wanted to take me around and start showing me different promoters and so on. So I traveled with him, but I didn't like what I was hearing. So I decided to go to Texas myself and apply, and I became a promoter. All right. And I found out we really have a promoter here. And I found out that boxing is not really in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Texas area the way it should be. So then I use my expertise and my connections and so forth. I've done 4 great shows. Most people think I've been doing this forever, but you know what? It's been by the grace of God and the connections that I have, such with yourself and, Roy Jones Jr. and so on, that we've been able to do some extra spectacular here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area when it comes to the world of boxing. I've been able to recognize all the boxing greats here from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, like the Donald Carey's, the Quincy Taylors, and so on. And, we want to really bring those guys back because they were champs. And if you've been a champ, you know how to make a champ. So I try to put the team of guys together and resurrect them so they can do just that for the young fighters that are coming about today. But I'm really concerned about the fighters of today, because when I look at the fighters of yesterday, I really don't like what I've seen. I don't like the way they've been treated. I don't like the way that their health situation has turned out. So what I do now as a promoter, when I look at the Don King, the Bob Aaron, and so on, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to show the fighters that we care about them. I'd love to have a boxing Hall of Fame here in the state of Texas that don't exist. And then at the same time, with fighter signs with me, we actually make sure we put them in a trust. Well, why a trust? We're number one.
Wow.
We're not educated, when it comes to our finances. They teach us how to make money, but they don't teach us how to grow money. They don't teach us how to really invest money and invest in income producing assets. And they don't really teach us how to leave an inheritance to our children's children. And that's what we do. Even though you see Kingdom Boxing, that's just a segment of what you call Kingdom Concepts, LLC. Our whole philosophy is credit restoration. I feel like everybody should have perfect credit. I'm talking about 850 score, not to use to get in debt. Debt elimination, the Bible says you should owe no man, that the borrower becomes the servant to the lender. But most of us put ourselves in debt, so we automatically curse ourselves. Then I also believe in asset accumulation and preservation for the next generation. And that's basically what the Kingdom Concepts kingdom is all about. Thy kingdom has come on this earth. We want to make sure everybody get that and understand that you can make a change. And I'm just basically the nucleus, the example of showing you what you can do. So I give you that foundation of a special trust to put your assets in, to protect those assets. I put you in a position to really look out for our family members, our futures, our kids and grandkids, so we can actually leave a legacy as we build these empires and dynasties. As I study certain people such as James Brown, King of Soul, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, Prince, Elvis Presley, just so many that have passed away but didn't have a good estate planning plan. And they ended up in their probates and their legacy basically got destroyed. What's time out for all of that, So I'm actually showing people today, and I use boxing as a symbolization because all of us in the ring of life, and we're fighting tigers, lions, and bears, and we're doing the best I can. But one thing I've learned about fighters, that if you're not trained, if you're not coached, if you don't have the proper tools, there's no way you're going to win. You're going to probably get knocked down. But it's okay to get knocked down, because if you look up, you can get up, but you just don't want to get knocked out. And that's what I want to make sure, happens to just people in general, and so as we have a lot of fun doing the things that we do. And, none of that segment, I use a different mindset when it comes to business. Most people actually start a business, all right? And they have an LLC, a C Corp, or an S Corp. Those are government entities that they let you use. You don't own those. They mandate, they dictate to you, and they tell you what you must do, and so on. So, and that's why I really introduced the trust, because it puts you in a position to operate under common law instead of statutory law. And therefore, you become lawsuit proof, you become judgment proof. You have some privacy and anonymity. You get yourself in a position to defer income taxes and use those dollars like the wealthy people do to continue to grow your wealth. All right. So therefore, you have better health when you got better wealth. Promise me, because see, money solves many, many problems, but most of us just can't tend to get enough of it. So yeah, there's a conglomerate of things that we do. With Kingdom Boxing .pro, that's where you go to get more information about us. Of our official Kingdom Boxing, which that's where you can actually look at our social media and check us out on Instagram and Facebook and so on. But really, we're doing something big. We're doing something different. We're the first. We're the only. And you know what, folks? The best is yet to come. I'm just getting started. So, so that's really what we're all about, and what, as far as Kingdom Concepts and Kingdom Boxing. And then, I have several other situations that I'm doing right now. We're getting ready to open up a mental health facility here in Cedar Hill, Texas, because a lot of people are mentally challenged. That's a major problem here in the United States of America, and especially right here in Texas. So we get to see what we can do about that problem. we have two major restaurants. We got the first 5-star steakhouse in the southern section of town. There's not one in Duncanville, DeSoto, links to Cedar Hill, Grand Prairie, and so on. So we're going to be the first 5-star, a restaurant. And you know what? Once again, your health is your wealth. So, we have celebrity chef that's going to come in, Mr. D.C. Williams, and really start create some great menus for a lot of people that are at our gyms. So we start doing more healthier eating. So, and then we have the turkey leg king. We are the king of turkey leg right in Dallas Fort Worth. So, so get ready for that. We're going to introduce that. So it's going to be huge. And so we just got a lot of great things that we're doing. So it's definitely, man, it's an honor and it's a pleasure to be here before you guys and see this guy here to my right and then to my left. You guys are really, very instrumental in the Dallas Fort Worth area and some of the things that you're doing. And I'm glad to be sitting in the room with you guys and to also be able to come together with you so we can do some greater things here. Okay.
That would be wonderful. That would be a true blessing.
Like I said, this is Mr. Make It Happen, man. And what he do, he have God pushing him, and it seemed like everything he put his hand to touch gold. But that starts in his heart. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate Cedric. But as a boxing fan, and not but contradicts everything before it, and as a boxing fan, I can't wait to see the next Kingdom, the Kingdom round 4.
Hey,
I cannot wait because
number 5 is number grace, and we're at that grace level right now. So I really want to bring the new year in, New Year's Eve, and we talk about doing a Royal Rounds 5, and we're actually going to really make a real unique, dynamic, show out of that. So I want to actually go get people that are not used to boxing, don't know anything about boxing, because here at Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, we actually teach you how to fight. A lot of females out here now, you need to know some self-defense tactics to some. But at the same time, you're building your body mass and you're getting yourself healthy. All right. So now your mindset is changing. So, but yeah, this Royal Rounds 5, folks, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a black tie event. We're going to have probably about 4 to 5 fighters on that card. Probably 5 is going to be that lucky number, the number of grace. And then we're going to probably have about 5 entertainers. We just had Yellow Beezy to perform, at the fight. We just had Bobby Billion to perform, and, Dr. Rose and so on. So we really make our events not just a boring boxing type of a situation. It's entertainment. But, but I'm able to attract people from all walks of life, even all of our members that are members at the Mayweather Boxing and Fitness Gym. I do one of these fights every other month. They get to come to those fights for free. A lot of people never seen a real boxing match before, but let me tell you something. The boxing family is a big family, and they're great people. And you got a lot of great stories. You can really learn a lot about boxing if you actually get yourself entangled to that sport. But it's the only sport that I know that hadn't been regulated and looked out for, like football, basketball, baseball. So we got a lot of work to do. And I plan on being the one to head the pace and start the day when it comes to changing and putting things in place for our boxers here, especially starting in Texas. That's where the big star is at. We do it big, right? And then hopefully the rest of the states, they're going to follow suit when we do what we're going to do.
Cedric, one thing I want to commend you on, like I told the audience before you got here, man, for 20 years, I've been sitting around waiting on somebody to bring something to Texas, man. In less than a year, you have the great Roy Jones Jr. here in the state of Texas, here for our people. You have Earl Spence show up at the fights, at a couple of your fights. You have Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the gym. You have Jeff Mayweather. You have Donna Carey, all the big people. But you're so serious about your fitness. You actually have one of the fighters that fought on your last card, fought on a couple of your cards. That's your lead trainer in your gym. Am I correct?
Oh, that's Miss Retta Metcalf. When you hear her story, ladies, she's a great inspiration. She came from a pretty rough life. I'll be honest with you. She started in a strip club. People, let me tell you something. And then people would pay her to actually fight. But then she decided to go pro. And now today she's that example, as an older female, as a single parent, and taking this career, but she not only fights, but she actually trains, in health and fitness. And really, she cares about people in a way that I've never seen a woman do. And when you come from Oak Cliff, Texas, you know what I'm talking about? That's very special. And she's a very special person, and Dallas loves her, and she's getting ready to really blow herself up. And that's what I do. I want to blow her up, and I want to take this talent that we have in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I want to blow it up to ways that you've never seen it before, because we got too much talent here that's not being exposed the way that it should
Who's
be.
that you talking about? Who's the fighter you talking about?
Sharetta.
Her name is
Which one is
Sharetta
that?
Metcalf. They call her Chicken.
Oh yeah,
They
chicken
check
and
it.
chicken go hard.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you talking about the other way. I'm about to go.
Yeah.
Nah, hold on.
And then I'm helping females too, because in the boxing world, it's been very tough for females. They don't actually get paid what men, get paid. They don't actually get the opportunity. So for her to be the headliner, which she was, hey, that's very special.
Represented too.
Oh,
She
yeah.
represented.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, she is. So it's definitely a pleasure. I'm so proud of it. I don't know what to do, but you want to go to Mayweather Boxing and Fitness over at 305 West FM 1382 in Cedar Hill, Texas. Come in and go get a free workout. We do some free community workouts on Saturday mornings, like from 9 to 10. We have on Mayweather, we have the Glove for Greatness, where we take children, we mentor those children, and we actually show them what they can do. We're going to come back to in just a minute. I think we need to take a break.
I want to talk about how competitive fights. I don't know if you guys had feedback. One thing.
Can I make this one? David.
Beneficial to the community and the dollar series.
Cut back. Okay, here we go. Got everybody. There you go. Need you a little bit, sir. We'll edit that out. Well, you're a big man like me. Okay, here we go. Let's go. 5. Here we go.
We live.
I believe so. I haven't done any extra.
Yeah, do a countdown in a minute.
Hey, Dave, what happened to that little kid? One of your buddies wanted you to work with him, but you said you wasn't really working with boxing, little white kid.
He won.
Oh,
His daddy was the district attorney of Coffee
yes,
County.
right.
Rick Harrison. Chris Harrison. Yeah, that kid lost 46 pounds and ended up fighting. He was like 180, ended up fighting at 145, and ended up winning the East Texas Golden Gloves. And then after that, that's what he wanted to do, and he stopped.
He went down with boxing.
Mm-hmm. He put about 2 years in there.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, podcast audience. We sitting here around the people that was at the last fight. We sitting here with Cedric Brown, the promoter. He's going to be known just like Bob Aaron, just like Don King, because he's doing that type of thing for not just for the state of Texas, but specifically for this Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he's doing some marvelous things. We joined by Mr. Mallard.
Dorian Big D Mallory, I'm giving it to y'all from straight and real, from the streets perspective and from the people's choice. I'm gonna call it how it is. I don't care how you sugarcoat it or whatever.
And a man that don't need no introduction, Mr. David Wells. He's known and talked about in all circles, all walks of life, from everyone in Dallas, a proud citizen of Dallas, and we're extremely proud of you, Dave, for all the things you've done in all the sports, representing the top athletes that came out of Dallas, making sure that they got a fair shake in the professional world. We need people like David Wells.
Right, man. It's great to be here in the same room with Mr. Wells. I look at the fact, folks, when I got into this boxing promoting type situation, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing it. And you know what? Sometimes when God calls you to do something, he surrounds you and he sends the right people to you. Mr. Wells came to me and had a real long talk with me about this, because as far as I know, I think he used to be a boxer promoter himself. West Dallas is known for boxing. We have some of the greatest boxers in the world came out of West Dallas, Texas. Let me tell you that now. So, but for him to pull me aside and say, look, I'm not trying to pay you. Don't have to pay me anything. I just want to give you some tips, some wisdom, and some knowledge, and get you down the right track and so on. And you know what? It actually made a difference, folks. And that's why we get ready to do Roy Rounds 5. Because, it's been all the way live with Roy Rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I saw this young gentleman, his beautiful wife, at the last event. I think it was the first event. We just did one this past weekend. I looked up and I saw him singing Yellow Bees' song.
That's my man. We rep Dallas all the way.
I mean, it's like they were really enjoying themselves. And that's what it's all about, Dallas. Something different to do. I do it in a different way. I don't make boxing boring. It's going to be quite exciting because, it's an exciting event. And then when you see these young fighters, these guys actually putting their lives on the line. This is a career choice that they're making. So, you know what? We need to get behind them, and we need to make sure we secure them and make sure that, they understand that we appreciate them. I didn't know so many people enjoyed the sport of boxing. But boxing goes way back in the history. You know what I'm talking about, folks? And you know what? And it's been very a controlled industry. But you know what? We're going to do something in Dallas, people. As long as I have people around me like Coach Brown with the connection that he has, we have business owners such as this young man sitting here.
My name is Dorian Big D Mallory. Everybody knows me as D. Big D.
Right. I don't know if he told y'all today who he was and what they do in this community. But anyway, we're just glad to be here. You got a lot of history about boxing yourself too, so kind of tell me a little bit about some of the things in your experience with boxers and fighters and the history that you know about.
I know that for one thing in life, you need heart, and you got to stay throwing punches. You ain't gonna get in the ring and just jump around the ring and conserve your energy. You're gonna have to give up. Yeah. You're gonna have to sacrifice some pain. And if you get hit, that's all right. Yeah. You get beat, that's all right. Yeah. Because that's part of life.
Oh yeah.
And those are the kind of things, Pinklin Thomas taught me, Andre Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, little things like that just get you motivated and get you through the day. Because it's all about mental. If you don't get your body to follow your mind, you're just a drone and a punching bag.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Mr. Wells, I know you were a boxer at one time, as far as I'm concerned, back in the West Dallas days.
We had no other choice. We had no other choice. We lived across Westmoreland, and projects was there, and And
Gotta get with them projects.
not only that, no, they had to bid. We had to play all. Like these kids had one sport. We had to play all.
All of them.
And coming out of West Dallas is when if you wanted to go to a tournament, one thing that Tommy Powell said was that, hey, next time we go, you have to fight. So we would take, this is not exactly, we would take 60, 70 fighters to a tournament.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
Baby Cash, Cedric Rose.
I talked to Cedric, and he knows he's incarcerated. I talked
Right.
to Cedric about a week ago, Dookie Pratt.
Dookie Pratt, yeah.
And I talked to, seen the Miller boys not too long ago. So
What about the Bennett boys?
I talk to Crazy Fonzo all the time. So
Lee Bennett was my nemesis.
So so West Dallas had no other choice but to learn boxing, and I was fortunate enough to be, losing the trials and knew I wasn't gonna be a pro. So I started training fighters in the late early '80s, and then started really opening up my first gym in '89. I was blessed to lawyer by the name of Fred Barron gave me my first money over my first gym, which was in West Cliff Mall called Reach for the Stars. And we had fighters there, and then moved on down the road and ended up with Home of Champions on Beckley and Sainer. But I'm very familiar with the boxing game. And that's when Sid first got into it. I just said, hey, man, just make sure you got some patience, because it's not about the money. You want to make the money, but make sure you get some good people around you. There's so much trickery and thievery in boxing. It's amazing. I was just sharing with the young lady out there. I know when I first ran in the city, I guess he was having a business meeting at the Pompadour. He had about 10 or 15 people with him. And I told her out there without even knowing, I said, I bet 60% of those people are not even there anymore, because people don't want to put the work in. They automatically want the glory. And they don't see what goes on about the behind the scene with the matchmakers and making the phone calls and people making weight, making sure the purses are right. Whether he make a dime, all that stuff has to be done right off the top. Securing the venue, make sure you got sponsors and all this thing, because being an African-American promoter is one of the toughest things in the world. And if you don't surround yourself around good people, it's going to end quickly. And that was when he said Mendelson, I wanted him to make sure that, hey, again, I'm not trying to tell you to run your business. Just make sure you got good people around that understands this business and the sport of boxing. We have a lot of good amateurs coming here out of Dallas, a lot of kids that want to fight. They come out of the Dallas area and just looking for that opportunity. And I think Cedric has gave them hope, because I'm hearing at the courthouse every day, and I'm fortunate I've been still blessed to work with the Cowboys, and I'm hearing his name and shows that he's putting on. He's giving away a lot. Right. And hoping that he can gain a lot. And I think it is. I think the momentum is going to change. But people have to understand it. But it's a great event if you want to take your lady friend or out there and see what it is. Because everybody can't go to Vegas, but he's got the closest thing to it now. Right. So it's a real blessing. A real blessing.
Yes, indeed.
I definitely appreciate the advice that you have given me. David's definitely making a difference here. And once again, I do have my sponsor, which is the Credit Union of Texas. I'm a financial man. And, when they looked at what I was doing, they asked me, could they become a sponsor? And they said that the only reason that we're dealing with you, because you're not like most people. You're not like most promoters in sports, and you don't have any alcohol sponsors involved. I said, no, I don't want no alcohol. I said, I can health and wellness, but then you have an alcohol sponsor. What am I trying to encourage? I can't get my fighters to start drinking and Jack Daniels and Coronas and kind of stuff like that. We have other business owners out here that would love to be, your sponsors and so on. And we started with the Credit Union of Texas because, once again, I didn't say Credit Union in Texas. I say of Texas. And they are my largest sponsor. And they participate with the Mayweather Boxing and Fitness Gym to make sure our members are financially fit. And, they want to do the same thing in the community. And that really makes a difference. And then we have North Dallas Furs. It's a lifestyle. You got to start with my ring gears walking around this past fight this weekend. They actually had the different furs on, and that's what we bring into life. It's a lifestyle.
Big up, Manny. Big up. Big up, man. I love my fur, man. I love my chinchilla.
So when people in the public get to see this type of experience that don't exist nowhere, I'm gonna tell you, folks, I'll be honest with you, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following the word of God, and he's leading me and guiding me, and I'm just doing what I've been called to do, because that's what I'm gonna continue to do. And I just, I trust him, and I want to let you know that, hey, if you do the same thing, you can trust him too. But let me tell you something, people. When you get to that Mayweather Boxing Fitness Gym and you actually get in there and get to work out, with chicken, when you see, I got professional fighters in there that you get to come see actually at a fight, but you get to let them train you too. It's going to change your whole aspect.
God, she blooded that girl.
Okay.
God, chicken was about
You know, and then when I see people like Roy Jones willing to come down here and spend this time and get behind, you know, certain fighters and teach them his style and then promote them and push them and coach them, and we can team up the way we do. Hey, we're gonna get ready to do something special. Not only here in Dallas, Texas, but get ready. All 50 states. Let me tell you something. PBC, get ready. They're going to hear about me. Now, Donald King, you know, before he leave this earth, I'm going to make sure he know who I am. And I'll make sure he understands the way the business of boxing really should have been done. You know, Bob Arum, those guys, they did the best they could. They paved the way. But you know what? It's a new day. And we're finna, hey, take the technology that we have and all the things that we see, the mistakes that were made in the field of boxing. When I look at my friend Donald Carey, and, you know, and I'm looking at his, you know, how he's been hit and the stage that he's in life. How do you go from being a champ? That's the only sport that I know where you go from being a champ to basically sometimes, I mean, your health is bad, your finances is bad, and so on. I just really can't understand that. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why I try to resurrect those older guys, connect them to the newer fighters, so we can actually kind of come up with a conglomerate. Look at that. I see my little the smoke and stuffed turkey legs. Let me tell you something. Hey, healthy eating that's something we really got to think about. But, you know, we're bringing this to the community also. You know, when I look at a turkey, you know what, and I am the king of the turkey legs as far as I'm concerned right now, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we actually bringing that new twist right here to you. So we invested and actually put that, you know, and at our events and so on, you know, you will actually get to come out and sample those turkey legs and those stuffed turkey legs and the creative dishes and stuff that we have that's basically promoting healthier eating. Then you get up to our brick and mortar store. I mean, storefront here in the Hillside Village Mall. You know, when I started out, you know, it didn't start out as a great situation, but you know what? Sometimes you have to go through the bad to get to the good. You know, it's just like a fighter. You know, you're gonna have to start practicing. You're gonna be committed. You're gonna be focused. But you can, but one day you can finally become a champ, and that's what I plan on doing here with the Turkey Leg King here, business here in Dallas. And then the Hillside Prime Steakhouse. Get ready, like my bishop would say. You know, I got a dining room that's gonna be in there just for Bishop Jakes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And I thank God for Floyd Mayweather Sr. You know, he was able to come down for our ribbon cut and our grand opening. You know, Bishop Jakes, he don't even like sports, but you know, the only sport that he cares about though is boxing. You know, that says a lot because he's a fighter. You know, and I just love it, you know. So all the stars have aligned, and now it's time for us to do things and take things to another level. And I'm just glad that we have a team in Dallas here and some experienced people in Dallas here and people that love the sport of boxing. It really brings us together. You know, the mayor was even at one of our events here, the mayor of Cedar Hill and so on. So when you can get mayors, you know, congressmen, senators, judges, and give them a safe place to really come out and be entertained, you know, it's a great. And then, you know, I want the public to know who these people are now. Because a lot of times you don't know who the mayor is. You don't know who your senators and congressmen and state representatives and all that stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I want to bring here for awareness, and that's what I'm using this platform to do. Okay? So Coach, I mean, when it comes to training and so on, and what you have seen in Dallas, I mean, because guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm true to this, but I'm new to this. But you know what? But I'm committed, and that's what I want to bring here to the table. So now, when we come together, there's so much more we can do than we have been able to do as we stand apart. So I'm excited, and just looking forward to some great things happening.
Well, I want to say a couple of things. Well, the show almost took over what I was getting ready to say. When you have someone, Cedric Brown say, before Don King leave here, he will know his name. You have some of the biggest names supporting. You got TD Jakes, which is my bishop as well. You have TD Jakes standing up saying, go out and support. And TD Jakes not going to put his name on just anybody. You have Roy Jones Jr. that can be anywhere. I mean, I'm Roy's manager, and people are calling me every day trying to get Roy to team up with him, to link up with him. I'll say it. The guy on Triller, Ryan Kavanaugh, flew us down. Tried to get Roy to join up with him, what Roy is doing with you. Roy is backing what Cedric's doing. He have a lot of knowledge to give to the boxing world, but he's really bagging what Cedric is doing. See, when you have that many people behind you, you have Floyd Mayweather Jr. I talked to P. Rilla, his right-hand man. They coming down here on the 10th, but he even mentioned you yesterday in yesterday's conversation. When you have those people standing behind you, and they're careful about who they put their name behind. They're careful about who they put their name. You have David Wells over there, and David Wells passes on and gave you your blessing and gave you some real hard facts of what's going on in boxing. So as I say that, I say everyone that's around in boxing, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's true. We have a community of boxers, whether you black, white, or Hispanic, that need to stick together. But black boxing managers, black boxing coaches, black boxing trainers, we need to get behind this man because, like I said, I've been sitting here for 20 years and everybody talking about what they want to do. This man is making this happen. We need to come together, stick together, and get behind this movement. Hey, see you at the top or from the top because we're going to the top.
Well, just know that life will give you what you fight for and they give you what you accept. Keep fighting.
And if you notice right here, said ain't say I not one time. The only thing he said I for was for his health. Everything else was for us. So get behind this man, Dallas. He's done the hard work. Let's come back in and put him in that crossfire.
And again, I have to come in and say that he's doing some things that are unique. And the one thing about it, when you have a businessman, you have other businessmen, they collaborate. First thing you have is egos. One thing said and done, he has set his ego aside to listen to the powers that be on what needs. He's taking a little bit of some of everybody's knowledge and wisdom, and he's putting it into one pot. And this is what it's become right now. And like I tell him all the time, I might not make every show, but I'm proud of what he's doing. I love boxing. I love the state of boxing. Only problem I have with boxing right now is, and I think we all agree with this, is that we can
lame.
That, and I wish we can kind of get something.
It's lame right now.
It is, but
We need this.
I'm worried about the health of the guy.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Some kind of
No
health
insurance,
coverage.
some kind of pension.
No
stipend,
retirement, right?
nothing.
Nothing. And a guy goes in and get beat.
I tell you what, hold up, we're gonna take a break on that.
We're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this right now.
Health coverage, I've been really on that.
Right.
My
What's
husband said, "Give me my phone over there, dear." What?
You want to go live?
No,
That's an additional 5,000.
don't want to get all that lipstick on you. Did I? Okay. Thank you, baby.
He's already loaded your seasoning. So,
So that's what shows us what we look like, right?
the room in here is the production room. I sent him photographs,
Mm-hmm.
and
Gotta make sure this hair is right.
I know that's right.
Okay.
This is going to be top of the day to you is Esther Davis. We just finished a wonderful, wonderful show, but you know what? Here we are with the second show, and you're going to recognize this gorgeous face because you've seen her somewhere over the last 20 years. She's been in business that long. Her name is Linda. How you doing, Linda
I'm doing
Henderson? How are
fine.
you?
And thank you, Ms. Davis, for having me on your show.
Oh, gee, you're the kind of people we want to talk to and talk about because your business, you're gorgeous, you're out there and you're making things happen. And my greatest compliment to you is that you help so many people.
Thank you for that.
I have a grandson that worked for Miss Henderson. He didn't know he was supposed to get a job if he was going to stay with me for a year.
And I really, really
And you
enjoyed
remember him, and he
Absolutely.
still asks me about Miss Linda.
Tell
so
him
tell
he's
me-
still around.
I will tell him. So tell me how great you are. Tell me how well you're doing.
Well,
Tell me about this seasoning.
that's really
Yeah.
my mission.
Okay.
That's
Ooh.
really my mission. I have a seasoning and it's called Mrs. Linda Seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have it at all of the Henderson locations. We sell it individually and we
Okay.
also sell it bulk to other restaurants.
It's called Mrs. Linda's Seasoning, and there is a
Absolutely.
Christmas package.
Yes, it's time for Christmas, you all.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
please come on and give us a try. You can go to our website. It's called mrslindaseasoning.com.
Okay.
And we have an excellent poultry seasoning, Cajun blackened seafood.
Cajun.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And you know, we have our original Mrs. Linda's seasoning.
Mrs.
And you
Linda's
use
seasoning.
it on all of your fish, your chicken,
Yeah, you put it on everything.
everything. It's
Yeah.
all purpose. And it's
Wow.
really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you've been traveling. I talked to you
Yes.
a couple months ago. You were going to be international.
We are. We are international.
Ooh.
Yes. And we have a location in St. Lucia and it's
Okay.
in the Caribbean.
Ah.
And
Oh,
we're
Linda.
quite
Can we
excited.
go? I mean, when are we going? Can we go?
Of course you can. Officially, the 1st of January,
Okay.
everything.
So we
will
need to
be
hold off a
complete.
bit until
Just
the 1st
hold
of
on
January.
till the 1st of January and we'll be ready. But we're physically already there. The building and all is there.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're
Now, we
excited.
want to talk to women, and for
Mhm.
conferences, I've hosted a lot of conferences. I'm sure you've been to an awful lot of conferences.
Yes.
And I love this story about what made you just decide, oh, I can do this. Because a lot of women will procrastinate.
Yes. But God, it was predestined. He already had that plan
mhm.
for me.
There's the answer right there.
And I knew what he was telling me to do. So I made the move. I was in real estate, which
Mhm.
I'm still in real estate,
Mhm.
but going down the street, there was a building that said for lease.
Oh, wow.
And a location had already been closed. And God said, go over there, open up that place. And I did. And
I did. See, there was no hesitation.
No.
There was no, I'll do it next tomorrow.
No.
I'm too busy. I feel bad.
Now, he told me, and I moved when he told me.
Okay.
And it was just smooth. The transition was smooth. And we're talking about creating a legacy.
Yes. Yeah.
And it should go on and on.
And get
on,
better and better.
Get better with time.
Yes.
You know, even I've been there almost 20 years.
I know.
And it doesn't even
That's
seem
outstanding.
like it's
That is
long.
outstanding.
And it's just a blessing.
But you've been busy all of those years.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've been
what
busy.
what do you get involved in? What is your favorite hobby? I know you got married. We all went to the wedding.
Yes.
The wedding was the wedding of the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
You had these designer gowns.
Yes.
I thought.
And my
with the-
dear friend,
Yes,
she's
Deborah.
transitioned now,
Mm,
but she was so instrumental in helping me plan the wedding and design
Right.
the gowns for all the bridesmaids.
oh my
Deborah
gosh.
Jones and I.
Deborah
was
Jones.
my friend.
And but she left a legacy herself
Yes,
in
yes, she
fashion
did.
and beauty and getting women on point, as she said.
Yes.
And when the cue is this kind of thing, that's
She did.
what we were. That's what we did together for a number of years. I got to have some advice. What do you tell women? I know I know they come up to you. I know they say, "Oh, there's Linda Henderson."
Well-
What do you want younger women to do?
To realize you can do anything that you put your mind to. The very first thing, though, is speak to God
Yeah.
on everything that you do.
There you
Ask
go.
Him for guidance and direction
And then get
And
into
he-
action.
and get into action.
Because that's what I tell women. Where is the action?
Yeah, but when He's talking to you
Mm-hmm.
and just move on it. Don't sit there, move on it.
Now, are you assuming that everybody has a relationship with God?
I am assuming. I
Okay.
really
Is that a
am
fair-
assuming.
What do you think about that? Because everybody, how well do we know what God can do?
He wakes you up every day.
That's true. That is
so
true.
you know.
You know what He
You
can do.
know what He can do.
And you're still here, right?
Yes. And also, you're an example to everyone. Be
Mhm.
kind. Be happy. Never be jealous of anyone
Oh, I'm
because
so happy you
God
said
has
that.
given you something and you've got to use what He's given you.
Oh, that is profound. Now that is magic. That is magic. And you always have this smile. I'm going to give it a name.
Okay.
You have this intentional, I'm wonderful smile.
Well, thank you for that.
So what do you say to women that she thinks she is something?
That's not really what it's all about. I feel good. I'm
Uh-huh.
happy.
Uh-huh.
And I want you to be happy. And I'm portraying that to you. You can see that in me.
Mhm.
I want the best for you, just like God has given to me.
Right. Great. The seasoning, Mrs. Linda's seasoning Christmas package. We're going to keep it. I'll play it on other
Okay.
shows,
All right.
and she's going to come back to see us. Order it now. Is there a
Please.
website? Telephone number? Give me
please.
something. Come on. give me
Please
something.
go to my website.
Go to my website.
Please. It's called MrsLindaSeasoning.com.
Mrs. Linda's.
Yes,
Mrs.
Mrs. MRS.
Okay.
Linda,
Linda's
LINDA, seasoning.com.
I'll ask the guys to do a promo for you,
Okay.
and we'll put it into our shows, because if you're cooking, if you just want something that's delicious, it is well made. And it's been in, how long did it take you to get this on the market?
Oh, it's taken me a while
Yeah.
to get it on the
So that means
market.
it's perfect, just the way you wanted it.
It's just the way I want it.
Mrs. Linda,
Mrs. Linda Seasoning.
seasoning Christmas
there.
package.
Get our Christmas package at MrsLindaSeasoning.com.
I'm Esther Davis. You've been wonderful as usual. And absolutely, you're the greatest audience in the world. If you're listening to some background, I don't think we have that, but I want to thank you for being here. You're the greatest. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Davis. Now,